everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio, and this is my last Christmas in July project for this year. But we will just have a little bit of a break before the Christmas starts hitting you really quickly, because our holiday catalog starts in September, and so I want you to kind of see the things that I get, so you can kind of decide when September rolls around what it is that you want to get, so you can get started on your Christmas projects. If you have ordered from me since April, then in just a few days, I will have your holiday catalog in the mail to you. So any size order from April to July 31st. If you're watching this in August and you don't have a demonstrator and you've never had a Stampin' Up! Catalog before, let me know. I'm happy to send you your first one free. If you haven't ordered for a while, this is a fabulous catalog. It's one of my favorites for a while. And on about August 3rd, come back here. I will show you all of the stuff that I get, which I will get all of the paper and all of the embellishments and all of the ribbon. And then there's several of the sweets that I'm also getting as well. And I'll do that unboxing for you because I'm going to get started on my Try It class. And then registration for that will open for my card club members in just a couple of days. And then everybody else, the general registration for that will open before the middle of the month. So let's get going on today's project. I'll show you the Christmas in July things that I've done so far, in case you missed it. So this one is with Trucking Along. They've all got some sparkle on them. So I'm glad there's a little bit of sun out today. So hopefully you can see a little bit more of the sparkle. This is the Trucking Along. The punch is not available, but the stamp set is, and you can easily cut the truck out. That's the only thing I use the punch for on this card. And then these two use the One Horse Open Sleigh paper. So all of these things are part of our online exclusives. If you go to my website or below the video or in the email, then you can get that link to shop the online exclusives, because you're not going to see those in any catalog. And then today I'm also using an online exclusive. I'm going to use So Very Merry. It sold out right away, but it's back in stock and it's really pretty. You can see I'm using the angel, but it has a gingerbread house, the Santa, some holly, the bells and the birds, and then some sentiments. I didn't even put a sentiment on this card. Obviously, it could go on the inside, but they're all stained glass. That's why they look a little funky when you see them this way, but they are stained glass. We're going to use the angel. Then I'm also going to use this new die. The die is called Patchwork Pieces. It comes with two, so I'm going to use the Starburst one, and then there's kind of a wavy looking one as well. I didn't put it back in the case. Sometimes I put them back in there, but I must have stuck it on my wall already. And then I'm going with really traditional colors. I think this stamp would also be pretty done like in purples and golds, navy and gold, some of the other non-traditional, traditional Christmas colors. But I want to use this ribbon again. It's the dotted ribbon from the online exclusives. So my color palette is very traditional Christmas. I have some vanilla cardstock, some gold, just the gold foil, then real red and shaded spruce. And then I'm going to use just a highlight of this. I went back and forth on how I wanted to do it, but this is the More Dazzle specialty paper. It comes in two colors. I'm going to use the gold. So let's do our stamping first. So I'm going to use Versamark and gold embossing powder. Remember, when you use embossing powder, you cannot color it in with blends. So that was my first. I was like, I want to color this in with blends. And then I thought, well, do I want it in gold? So I decided for the gold. And then we're going to make it super sparkly by coloring with a Stella. So this is just on a strip of vanilla. It would work better if I had my foam pad under here. So use your foam pad. But it'll be okay. And then emboss it in gold. Make sure you have it all nice and covered. You don't want any missing lines on this one. I'll put that away in a second. Heat some tool. And now let's color it in. So I'm going to use traditional Christmas colors pretty much. So we'll parts of it I'll skip, and then I'm going to color it in with Wink of Stella. Make sure it's clean. So I'm going to do, well, while it's clean, let's go ahead and just get a couple of the panels here. Just in, I thought it was clean. I thought I ended with just sparkle. So this back of the behind the angel lit stained glass, I'm just going to make some of these be vanilla sparkle. And then if I want to add any color to them as I go, but right now while my brush is nice and clean, do that. Then I'm going to go to my lightest color, which is Petal Pink. And this is to get her face and her hands. Now, normally if I'm doing people and I'm using a Stella to color in, I switch over to the blender pen for their faces and their hand or any skin that you may see. But because this is stained glass, they get away with it, I think. And then I'm going to use Pecan Pie. And you just press your stamp pad to the lid, and then you can always go back in and grab this. I want the Pecan Pie to stay pretty pecan, so I'm going to keep adding some ink to it. Your Stella needs to be nice and juicy. So make sure before you start that you've squeezed some juice through it. And then let's go to Wild Wheat, because we're going from color to color, so I don't have to keep cleaning this off. So I'm going to do Wild Wheat. I'm going to do her wings. Now, when I do these larger panels of images, I'm going to do one dark, and then the ones next to it a little bit lighter. So they're all graduating colors of the same color to keep with that stained glass effect. So I'll do that one, this one, and this is Wild Wheat, and mixed with Stella, it makes a really pretty gold. There we have the wings. Now I'm going to do the background in crushed curry, which again is another gold, because I wanted lots of gold on this card. So anytime you mix the Stella with a yellow, you can get a variation of gold. These two are giving me a more vintage, regal kind of looking gold. And you can see I have a little bit of Wild Wheat on there. I'll just mix that in. So that little bit that's left on the tip of my brush will go on top of that sparkle that's already there. Okay, almost done. These are so relaxing, and if you're going to do them for your Christmas cards, then figure out how many you need and stamp a whole sheet of them and color all the same color at a time. It even saves your Stella better than that. Now we go from two colors that we'll have to clean the brush on. So I have Real Red, match that ribbon. I'm going to do the same technique that I've done here where I do dark panels and light panels. If you feel like your color is not spreading well as you do this, then you need to get more Stella out. It always should have a really nice clean flow like that as you move along. Normally when I color with a Stella or anything, I let it fade to where the light hits, but because this is stained glass, I don't really want that. So I want each panel to be as close to the same color as I can. So you got that. Now you need to get this off your brush, because you don't want the red to mix with the shaded spruce. You'll have a shaded fading evergreen tree. So this time I'm going to do Every Other as well, which gives a fun look. And this is so super simple. So get about 3 of them and then go back and get the lighter. Get one more to kind of get that faded look. Clean this off so the next time I go to something I don't forget, and then go have shaded spruce in my ink pad. So here is our stained glass. I hope you can see how shimmery and shiny and beautiful it is. It's really, really pretty. So now let's do all of the paper. This card goes together really rather quickly. So I am going to run this through on my gold foil. So this, you can see it cuts it apart in a stitched pattern, just like this. And then I wanted there to be some highlights between the two. You can mix papers if you're in a hurry, just stick it on straight like that. I just wanted my patterns to be a little bit different. So I'm going to take my embossing folder. Okay, so they're all torn apart. And then here's a little trick for you. I'm going to set these in here and put them back because it's a little bit difficult, I think, to figure out which ones go where because it looks like it should be easy and it's not. But this is the fastest way. The first time I was able to keep it from falling apart, which kind of helped. So just lay this in here and then go every other one. So now we know that every other one matches up like that. And then put these through the embossing folder. Now I have a piece of real red cardstock. It's a little bit bigger than what it needs to be, but that just gives us room to kind of put this back together. I'm going to try to leave these so they don't go everywhere. And then it's just puzzling them back together. Now, if your pieces didn't fall apart, it makes it a little bit easier. They didn't fall apart the first time I did it, but we'll make it work. A nice summertime Christmas in July project where you have time to kind of put it all together. So I'm going to just kind of draw the line here. If I need to add more adhesive as we go, I can. And you could use the glue. You want to use something that will be able to move in case you need to move it. So up here, I'm going to give it a little bit of space. And then my red border. I find it's helpful to use this right here. So we have that piece. Now we need one that looks like that. And now we need this one. Keep the edges on the outside lined up. That's why our piece of paper is bigger than what we need, in case you didn't start directly in the center. So there we go. That looks pretty lined up. It's a little bit off right here, but we're going to have ribbon wrapped around the card, so it will camouflage anything that's not perfect. And let's just say it's antique. It's a really old chapel that this stained glass is on. Now you're just gonna lay it in your paper cutter, and instead of putting it right up against the edge, you can up here if this is going straight, and that's going pretty straight. So I'm gonna put it down just so I have a little bit of a red border. I don't want a big one. And it's always easier to cut it a tiny bit bigger and then cut it down. This one's not going terribly straight, but I'm gonna make it big. A little bit smaller. Looks pretty good. So now we have our stained glass piece, and now I can go ahead and as you push them all down, they'll straighten up a little bit. They're kind of bendy because I don't have adhesive right to the edge. Now let's go back to our little design here, and I have the 2 3/8 inch, I can't talk, circle punch. Let's pop this in here. And then I have shaded spruce for our card background. And then this is 5 1/4 by 1 inch of the More Dazzling paper. Put it over to the edge because our panel here isn't giant. It's not the biggest panel. So you can see you need to have something else to kind of help fill the card up. And let's grab our ribbon. I'm going to do a bow because it's really hard to tie a bow with ribbon that has this on the back side without that being flipped up. So if you do it this way, it's a little bit easier to control it. Let's put this on here first. And I want a small bow because I don't want a giant bow. And I didn't even put any embellishments on this card because I felt like with all the gold and the shimmer, it had enough going on. So when you do a bow like this, we're going to loop it here. And then when you go to stick this side back, you need to make sure that you kind of twist it here. So when you pull it, it pulls the right side up. Because if you pull the back side up, which not a good angle for me to do it and show you guys. I'm gonna do it a little bit bigger than I need. So twist that and then shove that through. So when it comes through, see now it's got the right side up of the ribbon. Now carefully pull it and keep those ribbons that direction, and then you don't have the flip side of the ribbon. I'm gonna pull that tight and then make my ribbon small, make my bow smaller. So now our bow has both sides of this, and then if we need to with tape, we can flip that. Just pull that tight. That's a pretty good one. And look, our sides are even going the right direction. Let's just fold those around. So I put this side over here because I know I'm going to stick this here, and it's going to help cover up where that's not perfectly straight. This is the straighter of the two sides. So grab some dimensionals. And I want this to go off the green. So now we've kind of filled this whole design up. Even though this paper is not giant. So much easier to control your ribbon when you fake it. Isn't that pretty? Here's the other one there. They're all gonna look basically the same, except you may have painted them in a little bit different, but this is a little bit lighter, I think, than she is. Isn't it pretty? All that sparkle, the texture, the ribbons got sparkle, the paper's sparkly, we got texture on there, and then our beautiful angel. So there you go. Let me know if you need a catalog sent to you. Those of you who are getting one, get ready. I'm gonna have some in my catalog. If you get it mailed to you, you'll have a little flyer that tells you like how you might want to order according to what I think will be club. It's always the caveat of stuff could sell out and what I'm going to do some online classes with. Everybody have a great day, and I'll catch you back here in August. Bye.